Hey, what's going on people? In this video I'll be covering the 10 most powerful interactions and glitches in Borderlands 3. Whether you want to boost your damage or just want a new way to play, this video has you covered, showcasing some of the most unique interactions in the game. We open with reload cancelling, which is exactly what it sounds like. Some weapons in Borderlands 3 do their most powerful effects during the reload cycle. They're all COV weapons, and some of their reload effects are incredibly strong. If we simply cancel the reload simply by stabbing or another means, we can trigger their most powerful effects again and again. Some weapons that are great for this include the Pestilence, which is best farmed for from Celestro around here in the Tazendir ruins. As this weapon overheats, a radioactive supernova erupts from around you. It deals incredible damage, will one-shot enemies with ease, and can even do the same to bosses. However, it will damage you, so you'll want to equip something like the red suit, which funnily enough you can farm from the same place. The Gargoyle is another weapon where you can abuse this mechanic, dropping in the Bounty of Blood DLC from Dick and Goyle around here in Bloodsun Canyon. Unlike the Pestilence, the Gargoyle won't kill you, spitting out a wall of corrosive acid that'll flatten enemies. There are a couple of other COV weapons which you can do this with, but these are the two I'd recommend, and I'll leave you to do that research for yourself. Moving on to a glitch that'll provide you with 24/7 amp shots. All you need is the Toboggan, which you can get from Arms Race with an increased chance to drop from this chest room. Once you have it equipped, simply slide, and then as you're sliding, open your menu and fast travel to a travel point, and you'll be treated to infinite amp shots. If you're a modes player, you can slide and get into Iron Bear and it'll do the same thing. This is a fantastic way to boost your damage, providing you with 100% bonus damage each time you fire. One quick thing to note though is that if you slide, the effect will wear off, so avoid doing that. And also, if you're thinking about saving and quitting, obviously you won't have the effect when you load back in. That being said, it's a great little trick to increase your damage output. Moving on to probably the most unique interaction in the game that is also incredibly strong. Not every Vault Hunter can do this though. You'll need to be playing as Moze and have a Snowshoe equipped, which you can get from the Valkyrie squad as part of the Maliwan takedown. You'll also want an artifact with the Sparkplug prefix, the Come On and Slam Guardian rank, and a Blood Letter class mod, best farm for from the Skag of Survival. This interaction is a match made in heaven, or a match made in Antarctica once you see the results. Essentially what's happening here is that the Sparkplug is dealing slide damage through its electric coil, which then procs the Snowshoe and triggers Novas. Those Novas also heal us thanks to the Blood Letter class mod and scale of the amount of shields we have. Because of that, a Sparkplug Deathless is the best artifact for this interaction, summoning icebergs with the force of a tsunami. The coils trigger Novas which fully deplete our shield, but thanks to the Blood Letter class mod, refill them instantly again. It's a never-ending cycle that'll have the Borderlands heading into another ice age. Next up, the power of friendship with a little bit of grease. That is of course Zane and his clone with the grease trap in hand. You can get the grease trap from the cartel event, dropping from Roaster, the Tenderizer, and of course Joey Ultraviolet. The grease trap has a secondary firing mode that increases the damage of its burst, and with you firing hot grease and your clone starting the fire, you can transfer that damage boost directly to your clone. Zane's clone already received a massive amount of mayhem scaling, and you can use this to literally add fuel to that fire, allowing your clone to blaze a path through just about anything. If you run the clone, this is one tool you'll definitely want under your belt. Next up, the beauty of Pet Novas, which you can achieve simply by equipping a faulty star, which has an increased chance to drop from Loco Mobius, who you fight in Sapphire's run. You'll also need the Designer's Cut DLC and be spec'd in to take this. And if you're interested, here is the flak build I was running. The Faulty Star's unique effect is to trigger a Nova at the attacking enemy's location. If you play Minecraft, it's like having your armor enchanted with thorns. That might not seem like a lot, but because our pet is having this shield too, and gets all of that juicy mayhem scaling, those novas can hit in the hundreds of millions. Of course, the Guardian Angel helps to achieve that, and this is one build John Wick wished he'd spec'd into. Now back to Zane, with an interaction modern players might not be aware of, or veterans simply forgotten. It is of course the Redistributor, which can only be obtained by defeating Wotan in the Melee 1 takedown, and Zane's Barrier. The Redistributor's unique effect is for every amp shot to chain to nearby enemies, and for every 7th shot to deal increased amp damage. With the barrier equipped, we deal amp shots 24/7, causing chains 24/7, resulting in massive mobbing mayhem. Still, only the 7th shot deals that increased damage, but the sheer amount of chains will rip through arenas regardless. It's still one of the best mobbing setups you can run in Borderlands 3, and in theory should work for all characters through the Toboggan amp glitch mentioned before. Speaking of glitches, let's cover the one involving the Revolter. Obviously you need the Revolter, which you can get from Sumo around here in Escatan Row as part of the Director's Cut DLC. For this to work, you'll want to activate the Revolter's effect, done easiest through an action skill start anointment, and then drop it on the ground. Once dropped, equip a different shield, wait for the effect to stop, and then pick up the Revolter again. You can leave it on the ground I guess, but you probably want to keep it. Once that's all done, you'll have the Revolter's effect activated permanently, and it will stay with you through fast travel. You can abuse this to have the effects of both the Revolter and Infernal Wish at one time, which is just ridiculous. The biggest plus with this glitch though is that it works in arm's race, making farming that arena a lot easier and much more forgiving. So if that was something that threw you off in the past, just activate this glitch and go farm that overpowered gear. Moving on to the Unleash the Dragon, an artifact that you can only get by defeating Al Dragon Jr. around here in Jacob's Estate. This artifact brings the burn by allowing each damage over time effect that's forged in fire to deal damage based on the initial hit. Combine that with the Psycho Stabber's Stab, the Stinger's Nova, or the whip of an ugly fish's tail, and you'll burn through that health bar in no time. The effect is so strong that you don't even need to be seen as a punchy character. You can also proc that effect at range using an elemental crit anoint and an incendiary weapon, or in Amara's case, that's best done through the Psycho Stabber and Amara's infusion skill. Now for an interaction that needs no introduction, Erustler. Sorry, I'm trying to be hip. I'm talking about Zane's Eraser skill and the Hustler class mod, which you can get from the Psycho Krieg DLC from Loco Mobius in Sapphire's run. In short, Zane's Eraser skill spawns an extra projectile at the point of impact. They spawn with increased damage, double dip and splash damage, and at the end of the day are much stronger than the projectile that summoned them. Where the Hustler does the most lifting is by allowing your splash damage to crit, which leads on to some crazy things. You'll see powerful projectiles summoning even more powerful projectiles. It's a cycle that'll blind you and your friends if you're lucky to have some. Boosts to area radius will magnify the carnage you produce, and this interaction gets out of hand incredibly quickly. Before we get to the final one, I'd be remiss not to mention crit swapping, a technique you don't hear about much because damage is easier to come by. If you wanted more though, it's pretty simple, essentially because how damage calculation works and the game doesn't know what weapon a projectile was fired from, by swapping to a weapon with a high crit bonus and having that bonus be applied. The best weapon to swap to is the Unforgiven, dropped from Indo Tyrant, who you fight around here in Floodmore Basin. 432% is the highest critical damage boost, and that's a mighty boost at that. It works with sticky bombs, slow moving projectiles, any crit you get while it's in your hands. It's an age-old technique that every Borderlands player needs to know. We end with the game of Mindsweeper, one of Moze's class mods, which you can get from Archer Row around here in the Meridian Metroplex after completing the quest Dynasty Diner. But that can't be an interaction on its own. We're talking about a chance at a savage cycle of damage thanks to Pull the Holy Pin. With this class mod equipped, whenever you hit a critical, there's a chance for a micro grenade to be summoned. With Pull the Holy Pin, those micro grenades can summon more and get much stronger each time they do so. The first micro grenade is strong enough because of how their damage scales, but when we're talking the second, third, or even beyond that, nothing really stands a chance.